In the month, I'd like to welcome you to the last installment of the week on Sports Spring Western Spring Television. It's the last installment for the week, and of course, this is still the Friday edition of Sports Spring on Western Spring Television. A whole lot to talk about, especially the final draws of AFCON that was held yesterday in Abidjan. A whole lot of talking points stemming from that particular one from all of the groups. Just to spell it out already, Nigeria is in Group A together with the host of the 2023 AFCON. Now, this morning, we will be reaching out to a Lagos-based sports journalist and the senior editor of Sportsview, right there in Lagos. He will be joining me on the show this morning just to talk about the AFCON draws that was held yesterday. My name is NENGI and after this break, I'll definitely stand to give you more updates coming in from the world of sports. We'll be right back. All right, y'all, welcome back. If you are just tuning in, this is the Friday edition of Sports Spring on Western Spring Television. And my name is NENGI ERNEST Ademola. Thanks for sticking with me this morning. It's the last installment for the week. And I'd like to start off from giving you updates concerning the final draw of the AFCON that was held yesterday in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire. A whole lot of talking points stemming out from that one, like I did said when I started the show this morning. So I'm going to be giving you updates right away and giving you how the group stands currently after the final draws from yesterday. And joining me on the show this morning would also be Mr. Matthew Okugbe, a Lagos-based sports journalist. But before we reach out to him, let's take you through the groups when it comes to the AFCON draws that was done and dusted yesterday. Now, Nigeria will begin their quest for a fourth African Cup of Nations title in 2024 against tournament host Ivory Coast alongside Equatorial Guinea and Guinea-Bissau. Now, the draw, which was concluded at a colorful ceremony inside the brand new Parc d'Exposition, one of the most iconic buildings right there in Abidjan, Ivory Coast. It was there that the draws held yesterday, which was Thursday. All right. We have Matthew Okugbe joining us this morning, the senior editor in Sportsview and also a Lagos-based sports journalist. Mr. Matthew Okugbe, can you hear me? Welcome on board this morning with me on Sports Spring, Western Spring Television. Yes,
feels great to be live with you guys. Beautiful morning, no doubt about that. And exactly. We are still kind of savoring the fact that we'll be up against Ivory Coast once more in the AFCON.
Exactly. Now, let's just get into business since you've already let the cat out of the bag at this point in time. It's no news that yesterday the final draws for the 2023 AFCON was held. And at the end of the day, after it was all done and dusted, Group A has Ivory Coast, Nigeria, Equatorial Guinea, and Guinea-Bissau. What are your thoughts concerning the group in which Nigeria falls under? Because if we talk about Ivory Coast, they are two times winners, 1992 and 2015. And we've met series of times when it comes to Ivory Coast meeting up with Nigeria when it comes to the African Cup of Nations. So what are your thoughts quickly on that group?
Well, interesting group, if you ask me. A potential banana peel for both Nigeria and Ivory Coast, because if you look at Guinea-Bissau, I think we met them a couple of months back. You could see that they are a side that seems to be on the rise. And Guinea itself, they also have a team that seems to be building some level of momentum. So, and rate any of this team at your peril. And I'm also happy that we seem to also be evolving with a couple of young players in our team. Nigeria is in a very dicey group. I won't use the word difficult. It's in a very dicey group. Dicey in the sense that other teams also stand a chance of springing surprises. So we must be very, very careful and take the games very, very seriously as they come. Now let me talk about the Ivorian side. The Ivorian side of today juxtapose that to what was obtainable in 2013, when we defeated them to win the AFCON in South Africa. A lot has changed. At this time, they are also in the rebuilding phase, bringing in a lot of young players who also apply their trade, especially in the French and the Dutch league. I think they will not possess the kind of clouds or threats on paper, but they also have the likes of Wilfred Zaha spearheading the team. And I think the Super Eagles would have their hands full playing against the Ivorian. But just as I said, we also have the firepower to nullify any threats from any of these teams in this group if we do the needful.
Okay, if we do the needful, that's the word coming from Matthew Kugbe right there, talking about the fact that this might be a dicey group for Nigeria. We have the likes of Guinea-Bissau right there, Ivory Coast, and of course, let's see how things pans out to be. For Guinea-Bissau, I think we've played 2 games since 2022. Nigeria won the very last game 2-0. For Ivory Coast 2013, we won 2-0 right there. So aside from that, Matthew Kugbe, let's also talk about the other groups. Now, one of the group that has been tagged as group of death, in other people's opinion, has to be Group E, that has Tunisia, Mali, Namibia, and South Africa. Meanwhile, in my own opinion, I do not think that that group can really be tagged as group of death because, to be honest with you, Mali is now a shadow of themselves. And aside from that, I feel like it's just an excessive hype on the side of South Africa. Mr. Matthew.
Yes, I don't want to tout that the group of death. I want to use the word it is an open group where the 4 teams stands a chance of making it out of that group. Okay. So you want to say he that wants it the most at this time definitely might just nick it. Okay. You want to say the Malians, they've been more like an underdog for too long. Yeah, exactly. They produced some very quality players in the last decades, but how much have they been able to maximize the potentials in the national team would also call for questions. For the South Africans, they would also rise up to be counted as one of the participating teams. But when it comes to ensuring that they go far in the tournament, it becomes an issue. Okay. So I think it is an open group where these 4 teams, with the potentials they have, on paper, you want to say they should be able to size each other. For those that really come out to play and really take it as seriously as it should be, should come out of the group with some level of ease.
All right, before I let you go, Matthew Kugbe, let's also talk about Group C. In that group, we have Senegal, Cameroon, the Gambia, and Guinea. What are your thoughts about that group? Because I know that the Gambia, under Sam Fit, they've undergone a very, a massive change and a massive shake. You understand that? And we have Cameroon. Cameroon, no doubt, would be able to cause an upset in that group. But for me, I do not think that they're standout title contenders. And aside from that, Senegal, no doubt, they're the reigning champions, and definitely they would want to do as much as possible to get out of that group. Guinea also is another team that I feel that at the end of the day might make us run for the money. So Group C, what are your thoughts also?
Yes, if you look at this group, you want to say it is closer to what you could tout as a group of death. Maybe possible might just be the group of upsets at the end of the day. Exactly. Because you have 2 top teams on the continent at this time. Yeah. That has a very, very good momentum going for them as we build up to the AFCON proper, which is Cameroon and Senegal. Exactly. Yes, on paper, you want to put them in pole position to make it out of that group with ease. But do not underrate the other 2 teams in this group. That's Guinea and the Gambia. Yeah, Guinea and the Gambia. For Guinea, we saw the momentum they've been building, especially from the last AFCON. That seems to be a pointer to what the rest of the continent should expect when the AFCON comes knocking. Okay. Yes, you want to say both Senegal and Cameroon should qualify at top, but do not underrate this team because they also have the potential to spring surprises. All right, I will take you back right there to Group A, where Nigeria stands to face the host. So
at the end of the day, who do you see coming out of that group as first and the second?
I think the Super Eagles will take pole position in that group. The Super Eagles will come out top. Then the Ivorians will take the second spot. Then I also feel that any of the other two teams might also stand the chance to qualify as one of the best losers, because that slot is still very, very open for any of the groups.
Absolutely.
I said the Super Eagles because of the quality of players we have at this time and the momentum we also have running. I think after this couple of friendly games between Saudi Arabia and Tanzania today and Monday, will also give us a clearer narrative, or give us like a direction on how the Super Eagles will play at the AFCON proper. The likes of Victor Boniface, Victor Osimhen, it's been a team of the victors. And I think the Super Eagles can nullify the threat of any team in the AFCON. I think the AFCON at this time, it is ours to lose. We have the momentum going into the AFCON. We should just go there. Jose Pizarro and his players should just make it count.
All right. I must say a very big thank you, Matthew Okugbe, who is the senior editor of Sportsville, and a Lagos-based sports journalist joining us this morning. Thank you so much for making your, of course, creating time and making yourself available to join me this morning in analyzing the 2023 AFCON draws. Do have a beautiful day ahead, Mr. Matthew Okugbe.
Thank you very much. A pleasure being with you guys.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. We've been talking about the AFCON draws, the final draws that was held yesterday in one of the most iconic buildings in Abidjan. And of course, Group A, we have Ivory Coast not leaving out Super Eagles. So we stand to face the people who are hosting the AFCON 2023. And do not forget that this particular game for the AFCON, of course, it kickstarts January 13th and it ends February 11th, 2024. So we're all in high anticipation when it comes to the AFCON, because we know how good and how far, Nigeria has gone when it comes to the AFCON. Winning it 3 times is no fluke at the end of the day. But then again, we've not been able to showcase ourselves properly when it comes to the AFCON. And people all over the world believes that with this group where we have Ivory Coast, Nigeria, Equatorial Guinea and Guinea-Bissau, we're hoping that Nigeria comes out in pole position from this group, pending, when the AFCON 2023 starts properly from January 13th to February 11th, 2024. So all the best to all of the groups. We talked about the Group B. You can see it display on your screen. Egypt, Ghana, Cape Verde and Mozambique. For Group C, we also have Senegal, Cameroon, Guinea and the Gambia. I fear for this group, to be honest. That is why I took time to talk about Group C. But we'll see how things pans out to be. Group phases begin from January 2024. Most especially the one that concerns us has to do with the Super Eagles of Nigeria, and we wish them the very best. Now, moving away from that one, let's not even forget that there will be a friendly match between the Super Eagles of Nigeria and Saudi Arabia by 5 p.m. Nigerian time. So the friendly matches that the Super Eagles stand to carry out this time against Saudi Arabia and Mozambique on Monday stands as, as just a preseason or a warm-up game before the AFCON would start proper in January. And still me talking about the fact that I wish Nigeria all the best. Of course, this would enable Jose Pizarro, be able to pick the starting 11 for his team, because at this point in time, the disposition of players he has, the position of players rather he has at his disposition can be quite tricky in terms of picking. But that man, needs to know his starting 11 just to prepare us ahead for the 2026 World Cup and also for the AFCON, which is slated for January 13th and ends February 11th, 2024. Moving off to other stories, let's still talk about the Under-20 Women's World Cup qualifiers. And news reaching us this morning is the fact that the Falconets would stand to face Tanzania. Now, the Nigerian Under-20 national team Falconets will face Tanzania in their next FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup qualifying match. The East African side set up a clash against Nigeria's Falconets after their impressive 12-0 victory against Djibouti over 2 legs. Now, in the first leg, second round tie, Nigeria triumphed 5-0 and secured a dominant 7-0 victory in the second leg to progress to the next round. That was when they faced off with Tanzania. And the next for Twiga Stars is a tough contest against Nigeria's Falconets, and the fixtures are scheduled between the likes of November 17th and 19th. And we also know that the Falconets have a strong history when it comes to this competition, having qualified for every edition of the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup and finishing as runners-up twice in 2010 and 2014, narrowly losing to Germany on both occasions. And 4 teams, let's also remind you, will represent Africa at next year's World Cup, which will be hosted by Colombia. And we do hope that the Under-20 national team of Nigeria, which is the Falconets, will be part of those 4 teams representing Africa in the 2024 Under-20 World Cup, which is going to be hosted by Colombia. Now, moving away from that, let's get down to the local scene and give you updates coming in from the NNL. Now, according to what we are hearing, it is the fact that they have talked about, they have insisted that the 28th October start date of the NNL is very sacrosanct at this point. There would be no moving it further. There would be no postponement. But let me give you a bit of update as it concerns that. Now, the Nigerian National League says Saturday, 28th October 2023, scheduled as commencement date for the new season remains unchanged. The NNL Chief Operating Officer, Dr. Ayo Abdurrahman, speaking to NNL Media, said the George Aluwo-led board is determined to proceed with its calendar of events as agreed at the AGM in Jos. And the NNL has stated that matches between Dakada Football Club of Uyo and the 1472 Football Club of Lagos will be the star match of match day 1. And the encounter would be decided at the Uyo Township Stadium, Akwa Ibom State. And we also know that club licensing is one of key criteria for the clubs to participate in the league. So there you have it. We know that the October 28th kickoff date for the NNL is very sacrosanct and it will remain unchanged. So once it's the 28th, we do expect that the new season of the NNL is to start. Now, moving away from that and talking about the Nigerian Premier Football League, a whole lot has been going on. And of course, we've been giving you update as it is when it comes to the Nigerian Premier Football League for the 2023 and 2024 season. Let's talk about the match that was played between Rivers United and the Remo Stars. I think that match was held on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken right here. But we know that Oyowa Anokwe scored as Rivers United were able to beat Remo Stars 2-0. So let's just say Rivers United returns to winning ways to secure their first win of the season with a 2-0 home victory over Remo Stars in the match day 1 rescheduled encounter of the 2023 and 2024 Nigerian Premier Football League. Okay, this match was played yesterday, or right there, it was played yesterday, and it took center stage in their Dokie and Mercy Stadium, where the former NPFL Stars returns to winning ways, where they beat Remo Stars 2-0. Do not forget that Rivers United are actively participating in the CAF Confederation Cup, and of course, we might be seeing a whole lot of reschedule when it comes to their participation in the Nigerian Premier Football League. Well, good luck to them. It seems that, you know, they have to balance things up. They have to get their priorities right, if it's the NPFL they want or the CAF Confederation Cup title that they want at the end of the day. Now, let's move in and talk about Katsina United. News reaching our desk this morning is the fact that the interim, committee of Katsina United want a team cooperation at this point to be able to lead the team to greater heights. Now, the interim committee chairman of Katsina United FC, Kabir Danlami Rimi, has enjoined the club players and technical crew to support the newly appointed interim committee members for a successful season. The Katsina United management was dissolved by the state government on Wednesday, while interim committee was set up to oversee the affair of the Nigerian Premier Football League side in the meantime. And so, therefore, what they crave at this point in time is cooperation from every of the board member, from every of the team player, to be able to aid a successful season for them. Now, finally done with the world of football, with the king of sports, talking about football as it concerns the AFCON draws that was held yesterday. The Under-20 World Cup qualifiers, which we know that Tanzania is to face the Super Falconets of Nigeria. We also talked about the NNL so far, that the 28th of October starting date for the NNL is very sacrosanct and it remains unchanged. We talked about the NPFL Rivers United returning to winning ways in the Nigerian Premier Football League, defeating Remo Stars 2-0 to nothing. And finally, talked about the interim committee, which was newly inaugurated in Katsina United for a successful season for them in the new campaign. So right now, let's get into the world of unlimited sports as it concerns Nigeria. Now, as at the time this news was filed in, and when I saw it, it came as a shock. And, at this point, I started questioning myself and asking, are we at the dead end? Are we somehow going at the dead end when it comes to athletics? And I'm sure when I dish it out to you, it will as well be surprising to you. But we know that reported across all dailies, we know that Nigeria's track and field runner, Divine Oduduru, was on Thursday handed a 6-year ban by the World Athletics Integrity Unit, that's the ARU, for a doping violation. Now, yesterday I gave an update talking about Tobiloba Amuson's name that was missing out of the 11 nominees for the World Athletics Women's Award for the year 2023. And of course, we knew the off-field issues that came with Tobiloba Amuson, downgrading in her performance when it comes to the 19th edition of the World Athletics Championship that took place this year. And it was still the same doping case. And, we've talked about this so many times. At a point, Tobiloba Amuson was cleared by a committee, and they still had to appeal. The ARU unit had to appeal at this point in time. And we're waiting for updates coming from that angle. And let's not even forget the likes of Blessing Okagbare, who is currently undergoing a ban at this point in time, which, of course, we know that her career at this point has hit the tail end. And this is quite shocking, again, coming from Divine Oduduru. Now, Oduduru was suspended as a result of a verdict from the World's Athletic Disciplinary Tribunal that was established to investigate allegations of 2 potential anti-doping rule violations by ARU. Well, sometimes you can't even really want to blame these athletes. Myself and Joseph ATEWEH, we've tried to talk about this. Sometimes the food they eat could contain some kind of substance. It doesn't really have to mean that, they take these things unknowingly. But we are hoping that at the end of the day, Divine Oduduru's career do not hit the tail end, do not hit the rock, because he has been handed a 6-year ban already. 6 years, I tell you for sure. I mean, it would be like your name is being erased when it comes to the world of athletics. I mean, at that point in time, when you should be struggling to reach the peak of your career, it would now, turn to something else. But we do hope and see that his name will be cleared off after the 6-year ban. And lastly, let's get into the world of UFC, because we know that Israel Adesanya is set for another fight this time around. He was disgraced by Strickland, and we give an update concerning that, about the fact that they might have a rematch. But this time around, we know that former Ultimate Fighting Championship welterweight champion Kamaru Usman, not Israel Adesanya right here now. Kamaru Usman has been scheduled to fight Khamzat Chimaev at UFC 294 in Abu Dhabi on October 21st, 2023. This is going to be a big fight between Kamaru Usman and Khamzat Chimaev. We're looking forward to that day, and the fight holds in Abu Dhabi on October 21st, 2023. There you have it for the first half of the show. We've been giving you updates strictly coming in from Nigerian scene, the local scene, and not leaving out the world of unlimited sports. At this point in time, we'll go on a very quick break and give you highlights coming in from the Euros 2024 qualifiers, some of the matches that was played for the Euros 2024 qualifiers yesterday. Do stick with us. We'll be right back.
In Zwitserland is FC Zurich de